Hi, today we are going to talk about this camera X recentering. That means last time we talked about how to make the camera recenter vertically, and we said that we want to try to do it with the binding mode of simple follow with world up. In this mode, we already mentioned that there is no way to align horizontally the camera, but here there is this script that I found made by the guy that actually works on Cinemachine, and basically does that. He goes under the hood and does it. So the way it works is that you can actually either press the R button on the keyboard or the R3 but basically the joystick is also a button, right? Because it's also the joystick controls the camera, so if you press it, it centers horizontally. It doesn't work 100% super smooth, because if the camera is off center both horizontally and vertically, and while it starts recentering vertically, you press R, for instance, or R3, it will recenter horizontally without continuing recentering vertically. And then suddenly it will sort of teleport to a position where it is also finally vertically aligned as well, but it is not smooth. So you could use this. Let's say you don't want vertical alignment, but you want the horizontal one, and you want to be triggered by a key. By the way, this is another thing. Whereas vertical realignment happens, you say wait so much and then in so long do it. Here you cannot do that, because we could, I suppose, have coroutines and things like that to simulate the same thing, but instead the horizontal recentering is done with the R key. Okay, in other words, it's triggered. And this is the script, and it has to be placed on the follow camera. Okay, so we go to Unity and we see that the follow camera indeed has this script. So let's double click on it. There you go. And so this is the same script that is here, right? Same thing. So notice that we use the value of 2, meaning it takes 2 seconds to, rotate horizontally and recenter. So let's show how it works. Before doing that, notice that it is disabled, right? Okay, good. Because I'm trying to make it work both in the case where the binding mode is simple follow or also world space. But this is something for another class. So it works the way that it is disabled. If it detects that it is world up, then it enables it. So look at this. See, now it's enabled. So if I, let's say, start walking and then I move around, right, and then I press R, in 2 seconds realigns itself. Okay. The problem I told you is that in this position it is off alignment both horizontally and vertically. So as you can see, when it started realigning vertically, I press R, and then suddenly there is this jump for the vertical alignment, so it's not perfect. One thing one could do is to say, hey, I don't want the vertical alignment at all, so you disable it, you press play, and well, now, if you are here, you align horizontally, but then vertically you have to do it yourself, okay? I don't think it's very good, because of the 2 kinds of realignment, probably the vertical one is more important. Why? Because when you start walking, you are holding the mouse, right? And unavoidably, you will move it a little too high, a little too low. Sometimes you don't really want it, but it just happens. So the fact that after a couple of seconds it realigns itself is useful, in particular when we will introduce aiming and shooting, right? It's nice that sort of you can see that the enemy is in a level way, rather than looking up or looking down or your own toes. Usually that's not what you want. So vertical automatic vertical alignment is actually very important. But if you want, in this state, simple follow with world up, you really want to be able also to do the horizontal one. Here it is. Another thing you have to do is, besides adding this script and disabling it and putting some number that is reasonable, like 2, you have to go to Game Manager and add a response for this camera recenter X event. Let's see how it is. As you can see, before there was only the move input, right, for the WASD keys or the left joystick on the gamepad. Now we also have this. Of course, we add also the corresponding type. Event type, right? We have this one was a type evacuator2, this one is a type bool. Why? Because either you are pressing the R key or you aren't. And then, of course, the callbacks to recenter X and the function itself. All right. And then in Avatar Controller, there are a few things that need to be done. So we add these two, okay? And then even awake, I think we add all of these. So this is already there, the first line, but these we add them. As you can see, there is a logic that says if the binding mode is simple follow with world up, it checks if the component is not present. It says unable to do it because the binding mode is simple follow with camera up, but simple follow recenter X component is missing. All right. Otherwise, if it is present, it enables it. So that's why once you after you press play, this appears being enabled because of this. And then at the bottom, we added 2 functions. This is a callback, coroutine that is called by this one. Somewhere I think I'm calling it. Let me check. Yeah, here. Start coroutine, this one, right? This one, we call it. And there is a little bit of magic. You have to pass a very long number. You'll understand, if you study the code, you'll understand why it does that. But bottom line, you have sort of to fight a bit the system, but passing a big number that is like 3 times the duration, so it would be 3 times 2, 6, right? That means that everything is over by the time this one ends, basically, and you want that. Anyway, as you can see, we also do something for the other binding mode that is world space, right? So what is it, and how do we do it? So let's say this is world space. Now we press play. Notice that this remains disabled, right? Because it's not this, we are no more in the other one. And now it actually works in both cases. Okay, I think I may have forgotten to actually do it. So let me check. Yeah, see, I didn't enable it. So it's funny because the Y recentering is called Y-axis recentering, the vertical one. The horizontal one, I don't know why they don't call it X-axis recentering. They say recenter to target heading. I guess what it really means is reset in the same direction that Ellen is looking at, right? So so it's more precise. So now that we actually checked it, we press play. And again, this is all time-based, so you don't have to press anything. And for instance, I go here. As you can see, it recenters both vertically and horizontally. It moves like in a diagonal, okay? So I think this is kind of nice because, as I told you, for instance, you are walking, maybe you do this, but then see automatically, or you look at something, but then you release it. You know that if you keep going, it recenters itself. And so this is both system basically. Whether you want world space or you want simple follow with world up, you have options. All things being said, probably world space maybe is better because it does everything automatically, but you never know, you may want one and not the other. What else do we need? On Ellen, as you remember, we added these 2 new components. So we initialize them by drag and dropping the follow camera twice here, once for the scene machine free look and one for the scene machine follow recenter X, basically. Once to get the reference to this component and once to get the reference to this component, right? And then, as I already said, game manager, because we have added this, right? So there is an extra slot, so we press plus, and then we drag and drop LN here, and then we select avatar controller on camera recenter X. It is one of those two functions that are at the bottom. And pretty much that's it. So game manager, add this, follow camera, add this, disabled with the reasonable number, and LN, add this, modify avatar controller and do this. So all three files need to be changed. Like this is completely new, so you just take it. Input controller, as I said, is only like this line, these two lines, and this one, I think. And avatar controller, these two are new. Then there is this if in awake, and finally the last two things we do in this coroutine, and this is the function that we call to respond to the event. And is actually smart enough to know which binding mode we have chosen to use, elected to use, and it will do the right thing. So this is not standard stuff. As you can see, I dug the forums to find solution that I feel sometimes you want, and Unity, I don't know, for some reason, it doesn't let you do those things out of the box, so at least we have options, and you never know, it may turn out to be exactly what you want. I hope so. That's all for today. Thank you.